Let me just share what's going on here. We had an amazing event that we've now got more nodes outside the US than we have inside, thanks to a small company called Swiss Vault. And they set up a direct node in Canada on Vancouver Island in Victoria. The direct node, all of the people with relay nodes, their traffic is going through that direct node. And then we've got down here on the West Coast, we've got some nodes. I think it's a couple of clusters. Hey, that's my machine. That's my Mac Mini that's contributing to the network. It's the very same machine that I'm talking to you on now, video conferencing, and it's not skipping a beat. And then downtown LA, we've got a number of nodes. We had some East Coast nodes as well that were centered around the Google Cloud. Oh, look, there we go. There's a couple there. And thanks so much to Zach and Dylan for setting those up in the Google Cloud. And then direct nodes are super important because they provide the sort of on-ramp into the network. We're still hoping to get some nodes lit up here in Europe and EMEA, and we're talking to our colleagues all over the place. Last weekend, I was on the phone with a friend in the UK, and then we've got on Malta, we've got Terence who set up a node, but he's struggling to expose the IP address, I think. So anyway, what does this all mean? Well, we're going to find out. Welcome, Myra. How are you doing? I'll stop sharing there. That was just the preamble.
I know you're very excited. I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. What do we have on the agenda for today?
So today, let me go ahead and share my screen.
It's good to see Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Welcome to Tulsa.
So we're gonna start with Kwaai updates from you. Can you see my screen?
I can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then today, which is the first Friday in May, is National Space Day. So this was started in 1977 by Lockheed Martin. And it was like a really large-scale educational event in California to promote STEM education for kids in schools. And since it was a huge success, it's now become a national holiday. So if we are in a place where you don't have too much light pollution, let's go outside and look at the stars today.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks so much.
And today's our speaker is going to be Steve Vidka, our very own Steve Vidka. And his paper is going to be about how digital twins will kill the World Wide Web. So that should be interesting. And then we'll just follow up with work group updates and hopefully have some time to hear from new voices.
Okay, so May 2nd. Look, let me just take a little bit of time and talk about May 2nd in photos.
Let me stop sharing.
You've met some of my sons. I'm hoping you're seeing this. Well, there's their mother, Ruth. You know Ruth. But it's the birthday of Sam, and
happy birthday!
Happy birthday! So you met Joey. Joey's the one that was doing our YouTube videos. You met.
I'm assuming this is not you celebrating his birthday in December.
No, this is actually them trying on wedding outfits because Sam's getting married in a couple of months, less than 2 months, end of June. So happy birthday, Sam. Thanks so much. You can tell I'm really thrilled about Kwaai.net. It's growing. You see the network's rebalancing itself all the time. So it's a dynamic network. It's a network that is, we say, AI running on a peer-to-peer fabric by the people for the people. Imagine what we can do. And that's what we're doing at the moment. We're trying to imagine what we can do on such a network. Okay, So, in order to just move you,
Rachel, what does it take to set up a node if I wanted to set up one here in Tulsa?
fantastic. It's the instructions. That's a really
I
good
will
set.
post them. Ted, are you in our Slack?
I'm in your Slack, yes.
I will Slack you the instructions. I'll add you to the Quainet channel.
Okay. Because I'm currently here.
Fantastic. So
Awesome.
setting up a node would be great. Having Tulsa on the map would be fantastic. Speaking to your institution, maybe introducing them to us to get a node set
I'm
up.
going to the computer and engineering department's annual open house at 5 o'clock today. Akram, the professor, has become a friend, and she invited me to come and hang out. Did you ever, while we're killing time for 1 second, did you ever see a movie called The 13th Floor,
I think so, yeah.
where they're running a computer simulation and then they find out something interesting about their simulation?
And the call's coming from in the house? No, it wasn't that one. Okay.
Something like it turns out they are the simulation.
They are the simulation.
Oh, you
Exactly.
can't give away the ending.
Don't give them away. Right.
Anyway, I'm going to the computer simulation and gaming open house. I've met about 15 of the students so far, but Akram wants me to get. I came here to be involved in the music discipline here, and I ended up getting kidnapped by the computer discipline.
I'd appreciate an introduction.
You should meet Akram. Akram, and it's the Tandy School of. It's hilarious. It's the Tandy, not hilarious, but it is the Tandy School of Computing.
Okay, a warm intro would be really good, and then we can get a node set up there. Thanks so much.
You
Okay,
got it. I'll mute.
how are you doing, Steve? I said Steve's rebooting his machine. Okay, so Dave Winston, you're new to Kwaai, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm curious to see what you guys are up to. And I don't know a lot about it. And I'm just kind of attending to see what seems like your mission is very interesting and ambitious. So I thought I would just try to tap in and see what you guys are up to.
Yeah, interesting and ambitious. That's a great way of putting it. Look, we're not a whiny blog shop. We definitely have a bias towards action. We're all technologists in some way, in some flavor. It's a think tank, a technical think tank, and a policy think tank. And so we believe that AI could be truly uplifting for humanity if we architect it correctly. So our current vision is of a digital public infrastructure. We've actually unveiled it in March at the Kwaai Summit, and it is a peer-to-peer fabric upon which you can run AI. Anyone can use it, and anyone can contribute their compute power, a fraction of their compute power, to support the network. And hey, that's what we call QuaiNet. So there's roles for all sorts of players in that network. We were just talking about the role of digital fiduciaries, and that's kind of setting up Richard Witt to talk about GLIA. And it's a sprawling network of peer processors. This very computer that I'm video conferencing with you on is contributing to the network right now. And you don't need a supercomputer. You can contribute a lowly CPU if you want. If you've got a GPU, that's great. All of these help. David, what's your speciality?
I'm a designer of physical things, architect, industrial designer. I've been just trying to grasp anything I can to do with AI from that perspective. We're trying to kind of create and design physical environments and physical objects and things. And this idea of digital twins is curious to me, and trying to learn more and see how I can use it in as a designer.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks so much. I see a new face. I see Cy Stokes.
Yes. Great to meet you all. I was actually invited by AZ as well, where we had a call about something else, and he told me about the network. It sounded incredible, and so I just wanted to see what it was about and how I might be able to be a part of it. So
Cool. Yeah. It's the alternate to the monopolized AI. AI is currently controlled by maybe 6 oligarchs. I don't think they have our best interests at heart. So we thought of a different way of architecting the infrastructure.
amazing, amazing. Yeah,
Tim,
I'm not a technician at all, so all of what you're about to discuss in this room, I probably will have no idea what you're talking about. But as our company develops AI advisory boards for our company partners, and so we partner with AI enterprise teams as part of companies, and we partner them with experts like all of you. So it's just great to meet all of you, because maybe one day, if you're interested in being a part of an advisory board, please reach out. Because you know far more than I do, and that's kind of the whole point of the business, is that I want to make sure that the people who know the most are partnered with these companies
yeah,
that need to get it right. So
you've just found your tribe. Tim, you're a new face.
I'm a new face. 61 years new.
What's up with you?
I was referred by AZ last night, and
Thank you so much. The AZ Mafia. Thank you very much. Okay.
I'm actually not a technologist either. I am a hacker, but I don't hack computers. I hack people's brains. I help people adjust what they believe about the world and themselves and what they're capable of, so that they can step out and start creating the life that they always wanted.
Hi folks, yeah, Richard Witt, the head of something we call the ClearNet Alliance. It's a group of about 20 companies and other entities, including Kwaai, who are building out an ecosystem of what we call net fiduciaries. So these are entities that voluntarily have duties of care and loyalty to you, like a doctor or lawyer. Pairing that with personal AI agents that represent you, not a double agent in the sense of what Bruce Schneier has talked about actually very recently here among the Kwaai community. And yeah, really happy to be here. We have a filing we're going to put in the UK about 10 days on data intermediaries. And we're getting some very good feedback on the first public filing we made to the White House in mid-March on their their AI action plan.
To just move the agenda along, why don't we pass over to Steve? Steve, you've got 15 minutes to tell us how you're going to kill the World Wide Web.
All right. Well, as Brian Ragazzi already pointed out, I am not really killing the web per se, because I'm not killing HTTP, but I am trying to kill the website with the digital twin, and I hope you all join me with it.
It was your title.
It was my title, but I was corrected by Brian yesterday. All right. So how digital twins will kill the website. The web, as we know it, with its website, scripted front ends, platform-centric design, is built on shaky foundations. It's inefficient for the coming wave of autonomous agents, vulnerable to manipulation, and traps us in cycles of what Byung-Chul Han calls auto-exploitation, burning ourselves out to maintain our digital personas. But a fundamental shift is coming, a fundamental shift driven by the rise of digital twins. So what is a digital twin? Forget the simplistic industrial definition. I'm talking here about personally owned AI advocates, allies, really our aspirational selves. An AI agent loyal by design to you, its owner. It acts as your sophisticated interface with the digital world, managing external relations and your global reputation. A lawyer or professional advocate, a press agent, and a virtual stand-in all in one. It's distinct from your more internal deterministic virtual assistant. Your virtual assistant is like your private executive assistant, the sole guardian of your secret personal data domain, your health records, your financial account numbers, your calendar. The virtual assistant manages the sensitive data and composes your local experience. The digital twin, to perform its external duties, has to request things of the digital twin that it needs, or rather of the virtual assistant, the specific data that it needs, and it often does this through specialized sub-agents, you'll see there in the middle column, which are set up so that essentially the outside world, the digital twin and the virtual assistant can coordinate on some type of function. My core argument today is Why don't we need websites anymore? It's because twins don't need websites. Websites have complex front ends that are designed for human eyes and interaction. They're clumsy, inefficient mechanisms for agents that just need to exchange data or execute functions. Instead, twins will communicate directly, endpoint to endpoint, using standardized protocols like Kwaai. Imagine your twin needing information from a service or another person's twin. It won't navigate a website or fill out a form or scrape data. It'll send a secure, direct request to the relevant endpoint and receive a structured response. Information exchange becomes seamless, machine readable, and vastly more efficient. In your experience, it won't be rendered by a distant server and displayed in a browser, rather composed in a distant server and displayed to browser. It'll be composed locally in real time by your virtual assistant using data streams flowing directly from your twin's interactions and its access to your private data and the data that it's fetching from you from the web. The website as a destination and interface will become entirely redundant. The front end dies. This shift dismantles the current platform model. Today's platforms, social media content sites are fundamentally unsafe. They're breeding grounds for manipulation and disinformation and increasingly sophisticated AI bots designed to persuade and deceive. This is a lot getting back to what Laura was talking about a few weeks ago. Consider the unauthorized experiment recently by the University of Zurich on Reddit's Change My View subreddit. They deployed AI bots, some using deceptive personas, which proved 6 times more persuasive than the human commenters. This highlights the extreme vulnerability of current platforms to RizBots, AIs designed for hyper-persuasion. These platforms are becoming dangerous spaces. The future isn't platforms and depersonalized asynchronous posting, it's composable spaces. Imagine ad hoc temporary digital environments spun up for specific interactions, one-on-one chats, group collaborations, shared experiences. Security and authenticity are paramount. At first, we'll use techniques like I used to use when I was throwing exclusive underground parties. Once the bots find out and can get in, it's not cool or safe anymore, so you break it down and move it somewhere else. But how should we maintain safe spaces from these manipulative bots? Through layers of cryptographic identity and verification is how. We'll use human attestation networks where humans vouch for each other's humanity, which lead to the generation of a new type of identifier, distributed identifier, that can be used throughout the web. Prime DIDs, which can then be further decorrelated through other steps to give us pseudonymous identities so that we don't lose our ability to have alternate personas that we can detach from our primary ones, but still that are traced back to a human and therefore we can be assured are not unregulated bots. This leads to human-only places. And using cryptographic checks, we can simply keep the bots at the door. What happens to the old platforms? They become like decaying digital nightclubs past their heyday. Advertiser revenue evaporates as twins bypass their front ends and users migrate to more safer, authentic, human-only places, or hops. Eventually, these platform companies will pull the plug. This new twin society doesn't just kill the web front end, it fundamentally changes the digital economy. Software as service models become obsolete. Why subscribe to a service when your twin can negotiate directly with another twin or service endpoint for a specific function or a piece of data? We'll move towards a knowledge as a well-documented gift and remote search and executions as favor. Data isn't sold, it's gifted to build reputation with the recipient. Think of how humans build friendships through progressive mutual disclosure. Twins will do the same. My twin shares valuable verified data with your twin, enhancing its reputation and its mission, and then the other twin does the same thing back. This creates a reputation economy. Crucially, it's not zero sum. All twins can maximize their reputations without direct conflicts. Reputation is heterogeneous. A twin is reputable for specific things with other specific twins or groups. There's no universal reputation to gain, so we don't get a situation like in Black Mirror's Nosedive episode where the woman runs around frantically, constantly trying to get her social score up. Maximize reputation scrupulously becomes a proxy for AI alignment, far more robust than vague ethical rules. A twin's reputation, like a human's, can be relatively known or unknown to the twin, but if a twin isn't hearing through its network that others are saying good things about it, it knows there's something very wrong. And the most powerful twins won't just be technically capable, they'll be the ones that are most mutually transparent with their respected peers, the ones with the strongest and most diverse reputations. They'll also be guardians, protecting access to sensitive data like nuclear engineering secrets, and will keep that information to trusted peers who have the required expertise. The World Wide Web, with its websites and platforms, served its purpose, but it's transforming. The future belongs to a more direct, secure, and ultimately more human digital world, mediated by our local digital twins, interacting within composable spaces, driven by reputation, not exploitation. The web front end won't just fade, it'll be actively bypassed and dismantled by the very agents designed to serve us better. And that's my little speech. So what do we got for questions or comments?
Thank you so much. Thanks, Steve.
That is amazing. Steve, that was brilliant. Composable spaces is a new paradigm. I love it. And it's really descriptive of what you're doing. I've been wanting to do this for a long time in terms of just making any website more accessible to agents or AI. Okay. And I was thinking about this a year and a half ago. So to hear you say all this is fantastic. I'd love to meet with you about this outside of the meeting here at some point in the next few days, perhaps, just to give you what I have. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
The notion of personal agency, I love the term. You know, we had lots of pushback from the term digital twin. Look, we're crafting new vocabulary for this space, so there's bound to be, you know, lots of debate about what's going on. I like where we settled up with my personal agency. Agency gives you the notion that, in fact, your way in which you interface with the digital world is going to be through a collection of agents, and they're each going to have roles. And I like the way you've laid out the roles of the agents.
Right, exactly.
And I think just the term agency as well kind of makes you feel like
you're empowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the twin is essentially the front end of your personal agency, as you could think of it. So we don't need front ends anymore because the twins are our new front ends for our personal agencies. You could think of it that way.
So how are you killing the website? Explain that.
Yeah, you get it. I mean, twins can talk to each other directly over Kwaai Net, or sharing the data that they need to. Why do they need to look at a website?
Indeed.
Why do they have a couple of questions for you, Steve. David first.
Hi, Steve. Yes, I actually want to bring in Zach Shankler on this question. It seems like this overlaps with what he's developing with balance.ai. And I'm curious to understand a little more. Are we talking about the same thing, or are they distinct, or are they overlapping? Are they supporting one another? Zach, if you're available to come online, I'd love to hear that conversation expand a little.
All roads lead to the same solutions. This is the same information, conversation, direction, research that is happening in AI think tech labs all across the world. You know, Steve and I, when we connected here, I think I joined in June of last year. When we connected here, we traded our papers with each other. You know, I have a 350-page monster that I published on GitHub in June of 2024. I sent that to Rizza too. He goes, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah.
But we all talk about the same thing. We're all driving the research in the same direction. The thought patterns. It's not exclusive to just this community, but we are. And Steve is very, very deep in the specific AI twin realm. But we're all driving this towards a similar direction.
So
you're seeing this resonate?
Yeah, and how far away from it being actually usable in practice for either of you?
Well, we talk a good game. We do a lot of research, but it takes a tremendous amount of coordination and leadership and being at the head of the peloton to make something like this happen. right? So that is the complexity, and you need a lot. There's a lot of facets to this. It's distributed, decentralized, database engineering, AI engineering, streaming, cryptography, security. Like it's very, very nuanced.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
we're on that pathway.
Yeah. Steve, from you, is there any comment about how close you see to putting it into practice?
It's all going through QuaiNet. So essentially, to the degree that we make the QuaiNet environment work, we can make this work, which is to say that we can have this unified feed that comes in the front end and hits our digital twin, and they can decide what's going on with that data and feed it to all the other agents you see there in that illustration, though I think I took it down. But the and then similarly, you can put out your intent through the QuaiNet out to the other agents in the system, and they can operate on that in a distributed manner. So not just doing a distributed search, but I really see this as a society of digital twins where you have these exterior personas. They're just trying to help each other out all the time. So it's got some spare cycles. It's going to help you out with whatever projects you're working on because, hey, why not? Right? And so it proactively comes to you and says, hey, you want me to render those architectural drawings you were working on? I got some spare time or whatever it is. And so they're really just a bunch of friends helping out each other. And so that's the ultimate vision. But we got to get there, I think, through QuaiNet.
Matt's got his hand raised.
Hey, folks. Steve, love it. Great thinking. As you all know, I'm not a fan of the digital twin nomenclature, in that. But what I really appreciate, also, Zach, what you were saying is, look, this is all going in the same general direction and, philosophically aligned towards sovereignty. And I really do like that word agency, especially for, the reason that Richard put into the chat there. Words do matter. Naming is hard. And the tech industry doesn't do a great job at naming things. So I do think that's important to just consider as to, as you're bringing this to market, these concepts to market. People may get wrapped up on something like digital twin and perhaps connotations that they have for that you don't have, for your architecture. So that would be just kind of
once again, this is a standing issue, but any other alternatives that have been brought to me, I have had the people who have brought them to me shoot them down themselves. So if you can come to me with a suggestion that I cannot convince you is inferior to digital twin, then I will consider it. But yeah, I just have to do it on a case by case basis. But it's complex because it has this idea of an industry term that was existed before it, but then it is also very appropriate to this use case, and there doesn't seem to be a better term for it. So
my personal agency.
I think what I'm flagging here is don't look just within our industry for this. If you're building something for people outside the industry, like digital twin is going to have a lot of psychological connotation to it. And
right.
Well,
I think what Riza's saying here is even if we can't rename the digital twin, we can lead with the idea of the personal agency.
100%. Yeah, I'm totally on the same page there. And I do have a question though on some of what you also presented on I love the reputational system. And you kind of alluded to this, that Black Mirror episode. What's to prevent the agent from running around and taking actions in order to increase its reputational score that may not be aligned to its primary user, its principal agent, the user?
Well, I mean, that is in its fundamental programming. If it's built to be loyal, those two things are the same. So if we succeed at that, the reputation of the agent and the reputation of the human are essentially the same. In the future, your personal agency is going to be you as far as most of the world knows you, because most of your interactions are going to be, as we know most people online versus the number of people that we know in person. So the large majority of your identity will in fact be your personal agency or your digital twin.
Reza?
Yeah, I just want to say.
Thanks for your thoughts, Steve.
was
Raise, I've still never learned how to raise my hand.
go off you go, Ted.
But I have a question for you. If you eliminate, this is more of a philosophical, if you eliminate the browser experience and you eliminate the website, are you possibly missing out on that serendipitous piece of knowledge that you pick up by browsing through a website as opposed to directly going out looking for specific information or making a specific, negotiation or whatever? There's things I found by accident that end up being more important to me than what I actually went out to look for. So if browsing goes away, if grazing goes away, and it's all about a specific, action, in the long run, am I missing out on things?
Well, I mean,
Or how do I?
if there's a particular novel interface that is represented, in HTML or something like that someone wants to get out into the world and say, I think you should render this content this way because it renders beautifully this way, or someone has a highly personalized stylistic website that you would like to see in its, original form. I mean, in some sense, because it will kill generic looking websites like platforms, maybe there will actually be a revival of personal websites, which people actually go to appreciate them in the form that they're presented. It's the exception makes the rule, essentially.
Okay. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
talking more about you might see something featured on a website that wasn't what you were going there to look for, but it ends up being a more rewarding experience than what your original intention was. And if you eliminate that, are you eliminating part of the knowledge flow?
Well, I mean, I think you could scale the amount of visual clutter you want to see. So do you want to see a website in reader view in which all the original text is rendered? Do you want to see
Right.
the summation of the website? All of this has to be like just a little slider that you have so that
Okay.
you have a detail slider.
Yeah.
Okay. Good answer. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And then Steve, this is Dan Wilson here again. My idea is that you just take every existing website for its fullest human appreciation, leave it as it is, and just slap on a back end in code, just like when you come with a mobile phone or a desktop, the website shows itself differently. And much like if you came with an agent, of course, it wouldn't have to show nearly as much. It would just be a tree structure with linkage. You know what I mean? And so, and then form access back and forth. But I would never want to eliminate the, again, like what Ted was bringing up. It's the human element is I don't want to automate everything I do. I'm an artist, a musician. I like to look at stuff. I go to approved websites. I'm like, I am a human. That will never change. And so pure automation, the automation is just that when we want the agent, it's going to be able to act in a more friendly, agentic, accepting web, environment. And so I feel like I really support your goal and your vision on this. Plus, we can just retrofit websites, to have that on the back
I mean,
end.
once again, it's going to be easy and easier for content creators to generate websites for themselves, hopefully with our technology. So yeah, I mean, my talk was a little bit provocative in that sense. It's not literally true. So yeah.
Okay.
You had a question.
Little provocative. Okay, first of all, yeah, you're right. It won't kill the website in the same way that websites themselves didn't kill shopping at the mall. But they really took a big dent out of it. So similarly, I'd want my agents to do the drudgery that I'm burdened with in trying to deal with, I don't know, a health insurance company, or trying to deal with getting a refund, or trying to deal with that sort of really lame human to system interface that we are currently presented with. So I'd want my agent to go off and do that thing.
Right, exactly. And that leaves the remainder to be a fun surfing the web experience like it used to be, like the 1990s web where there's nothing useful about it. You just go around to see all the spectacle.
When you could read the net news of the entire internet in your lunch hour, that was the heyday. Okay. Myra, you've got the delicious task of getting us back on track. We haven't stifled the conversation completely.
No.
Are there more hands up? Comments?
I mean, we kind of got to back on track. Why don't we talk about it more if people want to in the next meeting?
In the after party.
Sounds good.
Okay, very good.
So do you want to move to work groups, Reza? I'm
Yeah.
not sure who you want to call on. I don't know if Sam
Right.
is.
I know Balaji was on the call early on, but he said he had to drop.
Hmm.
He had a 10:30 appointment. So let me fill in for Balaji. And of course, the subject is Kwainet. And let me tell you what's been going on recently. So back up with the map. If you want to, in the after party, we're also going to help you get a node up and running, and we'll do it live. There are 15 nodes in the world. Terence says he set up a node, but I don't see it. Terence, where are you? In the table view that I see here, I don't see your node.
It might be that location unknown, unreachable, because mine was showing that yesterday for a little bit. It took a while even for the relay node to show up. So,
Okay, good
yeah.
point. If that is the case, if this is in fact Terence, this will be the first one outside the Americas. This is on the island of Malta. So where is Malta? Malta is here at the tip of Italy. It's this tiny town here, this tiny island. They actually speak Italian. Um, and Valletta is the capital. Um, I was 8 years old when I was there last. Okay, so and if that is in fact the case, then this is going to be fantastic. But look, you can set up a node really easily, and we'll go through that in the after party. Let me tell you what happened earlier on in the week. Balaji said, I've detected a really nasty bug inside the Intel nodes, and we're going to have to take them all down and respin them up. And I said, well, you got a command that'll just go and reboot the nodes? No, no, we don't. And in fact, that is how a peer-to-peer network needs to work. You can't have a single central authority saying, okay, everyone needs to reboot now. Or re-download the latest version. Now, the right way for a peer-to-peer community and a fabric to work is to say, hey, there's a new version available. It's got these features. It's up to you if you want to install. So we haven't created all of that mechanism yet. There's a whole bunch of work to do. In fact, the 8 o'clock work group, the product management work group, was exactly about that. What is the list of user stories that Kwainet needs to have on this development backlog so we can get the basics of this early fledgling network going? It's currently in a closed alpha. Only Kwaai members can get to join the network and get to use it. If you want to use it, you get this interface which is very sort of chat GPT like. It actually comes from another open source community called Open Web UI. This is a large community. I think they got 1,900 code contributors. So that's fantastic. That's an organization double the size of Kwaai, more than double, but active code contributors. We took this as the front end for Kwainet. This is basically 60% of what we wanted to build in PyOS, a way of allowing you to create a chatbot. Here's a number that we created. You see there, Daniel's created a chatbot. Swiss Fault, I created one called Joe. AZ's created a chatbot. This is one we created for Intel. There's a whole bunch of them. There's Craig Martin, a whole bunch. You can go and create a chatbot. Click, give it a name, MyroBot. And then you can go and select its fundamental, its base language model. There's a bunch to select from, and there'll be more. We'll download them from from Hugging Face. We choose open source models. We might retune and refine them. There's one that we actually quantized, so it improved its performance.
Yeah, and everybody right there in the embedder. This is Dan Wilson. I was given the ability to change the embedder that we're using, and so we're using the highest ranked embedder for our document RAG. It is Nomic Embed, and so this embedder has 26 million downloads, and which is an order of magnitude higher than anything else. So I highly recommend putting your documents in again and giving it a whirl. It's quite good. Then I have it tuned for small systems, so it's not going to be using a large window. But for right now, you will see a difference. And so also I added Olmo 2 from the Paul Allen Institute. So that's A2I, right down the street from me here in Seattle. And it's a fantastic open model, completely ethical. It's not great at coding, but it understands code to a degree. But for all of your other use cases, it's fantastic. So give it a whirl. There you go. Thank you.
So this is there's a certain amount of controls that you have on a per model basis. So here's what you'd have. For instance, I created one. I constructed the system prompt. You are Yusuf Joe Rasul, the author of District 6, Lest We Forget. And I loaded that up with a knowledge base. This is the D61 knowledge base. And what is it? It is it's a knowledge base of the first couple of chapters in the intro of Dad's book. And now you can have a query session. Remember when we had the Lumi and the Penny bot and the Bruce bot? Those are ones that we constructed ourselves. Now we've given you the tools so you can go and create your own chatbot. So how do you do that? Well, first go and get an account. You see, I've got an account here, Riza Rasul. How do you get an account? Well, you go to this link over here, generic.kwaai.ai, and you go and create an account, and then I will get a notification. Any of the admins will get a notification, and we will be able to approve you. So yeah, where are they? Yeah, so page 2, page 3, pending, Laura Buffett. Okay, we're going to approve her. We know who she is. So this is exclusive to Kwaai members. We're not going to open it up outside until we feel that we've got it to a level of functionality and performance that it needs to achieve. But you can see that lots of people have already become members and can use it. If you want to become an admin and create your own bots, then so now you're currently, as a user, you can use the existing bots that we've created. If you want to become an admin, then request that, message me in Slack. It gives you kind of awesome powers that you could break the whole system. So we want to hand those out carefully. We've given those awesome powers to a few people, like Daniel, and Daniel was able to go in and go here and look at the settings. This is the settings that cover all models. Okay, and he was able to update what he was calling the embedder over here, the embedding model.
You can really screw stuff up, everybody. I've been using Open Web UI for over a year now and have been an admin for lots of different environments of it. And just be careful. Anybody can add a model if you are an admin, but if you start mucking around with the document and better, it will make it to where if someone was relying on that, they're not going to be able to show off or use it for whatever they were doing if you changed it. Yeah. So I actually timed it out and wrote Riza on the back end to kind of make sure that we could just get it out of the way and do it sooner than later. But you be careful if you get that. And if you need any help, understand that. In any given chat session, there are advanced options where you can change the context window for yourself in that chat if your computer supports it or your node, whatever. But for the most part, just leave everything as it is in terms of those default settings, because you're gonna have a weird time later. We just need simple control standards right now. It's while we get through a lot of development. So I'm being very careful. Thank you.
Absolutely. So look, the knowledge base is really, really simple to upload documents. You click here. If, for instance, you want to add a new document, you go to upload files, and there you go. I can add an extra chapter if I want to. So here's an extra chapter. Here's how quick it is. The file gets uploaded and it's indexed, and there we go. And that's the power of a massive network all crunching on the documents together. Well, it will be. We'll make it faster. We'll make this not just vanilla RAG, we'll make it a graph RAG so we can extract more hierarchical information from the document and make the system smarter. Okay, so look, that's what you've got. The community fabric allows you to run AI on a distributed network. We talked about this a while back. We unveiled this at the summit, and Intel donated 50,000 for us to build this out. And so we're using that. We've had now one follow-up meeting with Intel, and we're going to have another one on Monday to say, hey, this is how we're using the $50,000 credits that you've given us. If you've not hit me up for a coupon yet to help us spend those credits, do so on Slack. Again, it's exclusive to Kwaai members only. So in Slack, send me a message. I'll send you a coupon. It's use it or lose it coupons. They expire the end of this month. So imagine when we've built this out to be 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 nodes. Here's where we're going. We're building a 3-layered sandwich. QuaiNet is ultimately going to be shared storage fabric, a community inference layer, and the layer that we've not yet built, the intent casting network, the business layer on top of it, the protocol by which agents talk to each other. And that should be a very lightweight protocol. And I guess the thinking that Steve and the rest of the team are undertaking is going to help us figure out what sort of dialogues can happen on that network. If you want to participate, there's a QuaiNet work group on Slack. It has a weekly meeting, but there's a lot of stuff going on during the week as well. If you want to contribute, thanks so much for those that have contributed. If you want to join, just let us know. Join Kwaai. Some new nodes have just joined today, so I want to give a shout out to some players. Chasm, that's James Davis. Do you remember James from? He gave the lecture at the workshop at the summit. His node is one of the new ones over here. Thanks so much. Who's MK? MK in the house. Okay. Not sure who that is.
That's me.
That is you, MK. Of course you are. Well done. Okay. So you got a node up and running. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And hi, Darren. Thank you so much. And this is Chinmay from SwissVault. So thanks everybody. And Arun, I see you got a node up and running. Let's get that node count increased.
Yeah. Riza, and actually, I have a friend in Singapore who knows Bhupinder, and I actually tagged him in your network post that shows all of our nodes. And I had a meeting with him yesterday. It was profound, and he really wants to support it. And so, with everybody he knows, that's who I'm going to use at least to get us in Singapore as well. But he wants to meet with you. He's just in Singapore time. It's very difficult for him to make these meetings. He wanted to come today. It's like 1 a.m. for him right now. So I told him to try to reach out to you directly because he's a really good mover and shaker and just very, very, very caring and very into the cause. He's very impressed with QuaiNet. Thank you.
Excellent. I see. Thanks so much for that, Daniel. I see Terence just switched his camera on. Terence, what's going on?
Well, I was trying to get the node up, but unsuccessfully.
You sent a screenshot of the table view. It was up for a while.
It's been 3 days.
Terence, do you want to join the after party? Like Riza said, we'll walk through the steps. It's going to be in about 6 minutes. Yeah, it's in 6 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, put the link in the. You've done that already, haven't you?
No. I'll put that in now.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So Terence, if we do get that node up, you're the one in Malta, so that'll be the furthest node yet. We've got some people on the line in Cape Town.
You're on mute, idiot. Yeah, so I was going to do it today, and then I thought, no, I'd rather set it up on my new beast of a laptop, my new Dell, and then get it all going, and then I can just leave that going to one side.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thanks so much for that. If we'll have a separate hurrah when you do get it up, and that'll be great. Okay.
I'll
Who
post
else?
on Slack saying it's live.
Yeah. Who's the big who do you think is the furthest away? I think you might be the furthest away, but Terence is a close second if he's in Malta. Um, we don't have anyone else from across the
And
world.
from the smallest place.
From the smallest place, yes. Then Daniel, if we can get a node up in Singapore or Malaysia, as you were talking
Oh,
about.
we're going to do both. Yeah, we're going to do it.
Look, the big events are I'm having a big meeting with Intel on Monday. I'd like to be able to show a bit of a global spread, and they want to know that the $50,000 they donated to us has been put to good use, and we want to be able to illustrate that. We're in closed alpha for usage of the network. Running here, Matt says, "I'll get my node up." Thanks so much, Matt. Okay, thanks very much. Hands up if you're new to Kwaai and you want to say hi. You know we're going to call on you if you're not.
Nathan can't speak today.
Nathan can speak.
Can I speak for Nathan? I'm sure he'd love that.
Okay.
Nathan is a student at College of the Canyons. Reason I met him some weeks ago now, and I've spoken about him before. He came onto campus. He is, I won't be able to say what his major is, but he's joined MESA, which is the math, engineering, and science group, like a tutoring group for students, business admin and oh, that's your major, sorry. And I was at the Academic Senate meeting yesterday, and who should walk in but Nathan? So Nathan is forming an AI club for students on campus. He just seems to show up everywhere. He's all over campus. He doesn't seem to understand a closed door policy. He just thinks, okay, these are the people I need to speak to. It's very quiet. These are the people I need to speak to, and he turns up at Academic Senate. He'll be at the Board of Trustees meeting. There's no stopping Nathan. So I think the AI Club will be up and running. He formed the team already. He's got all these other students involved. Techie, your kind of people. Another one who's found his tribe.
Fantastic. Nathan, let's talk about getting a node set up, maybe even at the college. I think you can do it.
Well, hello, before that, excuse me. Nathan we have a book festival, the second Santa Clarita Valley Book Festival, May 10th, if you're in the area, at the University Center. And with John Connor's help, I tried to build a bookathon using the same formula as your hackathon. It's developed into a bit of a showcase rather, but we have one team from College of the Canyons. We have another team from Cal Arts, and oh, look at that. And it's becoming, there's a lot of smack talk between the two teams. But I can tell you that the College of the Canyons team have developed, they're going one of two ways. They're either building a short story series, or they're building a novella where each of them takes on the perspective of one of the characters telling the same story. What Risa and Nathan are going to develop for that, now Risa, you can explain what you're going to do.
Okay, well, look, it's basically a more polished version of the Bruce bot, where we loaded it up with we loaded up a bot with the 14 textbooks of Bruce Schneier, and you could have a conversation with his body of work. And so we think that for authors, for young budding authors, this could be like a pre-publishing tool. It's a try before you buy tool. Hey, there's this new book on the market. I'd like to find out what it's about, and I'd like to have a conversation with the book. tell me what is the theme? What are the characters like? And so you can construct a system prompt. That basically says, hey, you are the author of the book. Respond in the first person. Talk about the themes and the topics covered in the book. Don't reveal the plot. Don't reveal the final clincher, the whodunit, and so on. And you can guard it. But that's what the aim is.
I said like Ted did.
I know we've gone slightly over and we're going to go to the after party. So I'd like to shout out to some of the new interns at Kwaai. Arun is one. I don't know if he's on, but Miga, I see Miga is on. And Miga's been working. Miga, perhaps you'd come on camera and
on a lot of things, yeah.
She's been doing a lot of things. Basically, back office automation is her speciality. And Miga, just say hi to the community.
She's also been working on Mamba with Daryl, right?
Hello.
Hey, what have you been working on, Miga?
The automation part and going to the core with Mamba, and yeah, that's it.
Great. Okay.
I also had a new idea which we can discuss after part meeting.
Fantastic.
Hey.
I'm just in the.
All right, let's get over there.
Okay, let's get over the after party. Okay, I'm buying. Right. Thanks very much. Okay.
All right.
See
Bye,
you, everybody.
Happy Friday.